Sure, I'm getting this right. Providence favors our undertaking. That's what that means. Providence favors our undertakings. Okay?
That makes a spiritual thing.
And over here on this side, we have e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. One. Okay, we're just going to ask a simple question. Simple question. The divine council is a council of divine beings called gods, sons of God, or watchers. Okay. So out of many, one. You should pay really close attention to this right here. These beings participate in making decisions with Yahweh, execute his decrees in creation, and rule over nations on his behalf, though they are ultimately subject to his sovereignty. Okay? I want you to understand, when we go here,
Now, I want you to think about
that this, on the sixth day, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. This means that everything is done. Okay, guys? It means everything is done. But it also means that
noted for its knowledge of the heavenly body.
e pluribus unum, many out of one. Okay, I have to be careful here because there's some things that I can say and I can't say. But everything is done already. It's just what it is. It's the way that it is. And if you don't know that, now you have that to think upon, I guess. But e pluribus unum, what it does is it implies that you can think that it's not. Because rule over nations on his behalf. Okay. Which ultimately will lead to his sovereignty. Because that's how that's going to go. Okay. Whether you die or not, I mean, obviously you are. So that's a thing. So we go here, we see that there are rulers over nations, right? On his behalf. And I mean, we can go to Daniel and see the prince of Persia is identified as a powerful spiritual entity or demonic being that represents and exerts authority over the ancient Persian Empire rather than a human king. Okay, so these are spiritual entities that this is what we call the shadow government. Okay? There was a one people that the Lord God Most High Most High is written all over Isaiah. You want to get into that, you can read the book of Isaiah. The Lord God Most High picked a people out of the wilderness, which their ancestors were cast into because of eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So, what had happened here is they got sent into the wilderness. This wilderness is a place where the people of God in the book of Leviticus during Yom Kippur, the new year, they would send a goat out into the wilderness with the sins of the people, with the representation of the sins of the people upon this goat. And they would send it out to an angel with the name Azazel. Okay? They send it out into the wilderness because that is where sin and impurities belong. Now, what we have in Exodus 20, going through it again. Thou shalt not. So, I can think that I'm going to rip this dollar bill in half, but I'm not, right? So, I'm not. I shall not, but I can think that. Now, why can I think that even though I can't do it? Well, it's because of this. There are many creatures, divine beings, or spiritual entities that reside within the heavens of earth that allow us to think specific things. Ultimately, it's all gonna have to come to the conclusion of our knees bent on the ground. Everybody, every single creature, everything is gonna bow before the Lord Most High. Okay, because that's what it has to come down to. But here on this earth, we are given the opportunity to come before him and give glory to him for who he is. Okay, so I recommend doing that. But what I'm saying is there are spiritual entities residing in the heavens that give you your thought process. And that's the only way that you can function. Because they are commanded to give you being. Okay? Because what does it mean to be beguiled? What does it mean to be beguiled? The most subtle creature, the beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. Right? So he had already made him. Okay? You need to understand that. He had already made him to be who he was and what he was going to do. Okay? Now, I also want you to know that he told them, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. This is the serpent. Right? And it was a question. And if we go here, we can read in Genesis 2 that he said, in the day you eat thereof, you will surely die. Okay? The Lord God said to Adam, in the day you eat thereof, you will surely die. So he knew this was going to happen. He knew we were going to be able to think against his will or towards his will. And what is towards his will? What is his will? The only way to please God, according to the divine assembly in which the higher heavens are in. Okay, this is the real deal, guys. The only way to please God is by faith. It's the only way we can do that. Faith is the exclusive foundation for a relationship with God. It is the only way to please Him. Faith involves trusting that God actively rewards those who diligently seek Him.
That pertain to Jacob being brought to Jesus and 7 years of right.
Without faith, it is impossible to please God. So, you need to understand that God is God. Not all the little you guys. Okay? God is God. Give credit where it's due. And then you'll be able to come to the ability to liberate people into being a free people on this earth who can walk in peace and be happy in every single circumstance that there is. Why? Because God is God. And Jesus Christ was already raised from the dead. Okay? So, e pluribus unum. Novus Ordo Seclorum. In 1913, America was bought out by bankers. In the 90s, we went to war with Iraq, and 9/11 had happened. And Iraq had its own monetary system. So we went to war with them because we were bought out by bankers. Long story short, that's why we did it. Because this is what we want to do. We want to bring a one world currency to the world. That's the ultimate endeavor. That's what we want to do. That's what's ultimately going to happen. And if this hasn't happened yet, we're nowhere near being close to the end. I mean, could be a couple decades away, could be 5 years away, maybe 2 years away, but it won't happen until you come to the realization, guys, that there already is one world currency. And those who walk in truth understand that currency as it is. Okay? And then you will be at the end. And then you will know your Jesus and your God. And He will take care of you like a loving father takes care of his children, because that's what He does. Because of what Jesus Christ did. God came down here in the flesh and died for the people who offend Him. All of our offenses were upon Him, upon Jesus Christ. So, that's the gospel story. With money. So, I just brought about the end of the world. And I did it by riding on clouds. Heavens. With different entities. With the divine councils. Well, how was I able to do that? How was I able to do that? Why is there Latin written on dollar bills where we speak English? Why is it so gosh darn fancy everywhere with so many geometric patterns? Right? Why is it so woven? Right? So woven. Right? It's so woven. where different points connect, kind of like how our mind wants to find different points for us to reach our goals, right? It's already done. There is a one world currency. It is believing that God is God. And that's the end of it. It's the only way we would have a currency.